Hello, everyone. Happy St. Patrick's Day, the only day where you can drink your face off without being judged. You know what time it is. Welcome to Meet You at the Top podcast with your hosts, Magda Wolski and
Elphi Bolombo. So today we have a plant pro, a plant doctor, plant stylist, plant consultant. Okay, I can go on and on. She has almost 100,000 followers on Instagram, has been featured on CTV, Blog TO, Toronto Star, you name it. We have Julia, the biggest plant mama.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yes, Julia, thank you for joining us. So as you can see, we kind of set up our little podcast studio to feature the plants.
I appreciate the vibes, my friends, you know?
Yes. So tell us a little bit about how you got into this unconventional plant world journey as a career.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So that's a very loaded question in a way, but yeah, I got into plants, I'd say 2018. My dad was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and was just kind of dealing with some stuff with my family and that. And I felt the need to kind of redecorate my room. Mm-hmm. And I was watching YouTube videos and I kept noticing all the redecorating videos, they all had plants in them. And a plant video got recommended to me, and it was this 30-minute long video. It was this older woman, just very monotone, talking to the camera, saying all the scientific names of the plants. And I watched the whole thing, and by the end of it, I was so entranced. And I'm like, okay, I don't know why, but something's compelling me to learn more about them. And I spent probably 2 or 3 hours that night just watching plant videos. So I learned as much as I could for 4 or 5 months, until I finally bought my first couple of plants, which I still have.
Oh, wow.
Actually, sorry, one of them is dead, but the other 3 are there. The other 3, if I'm being honest, I'll be honest. I have 3 out of the 4. But yeah, I got into plants in that way. It was a therapeutic thing. Mm-hmm. Going to the garden center, just spending hours there, just unwinding and detaching from the world a little bit, just to get some peace. And then the business side of it, I had a really close, now it's a close friend of mine, but at the time she was a mutual friend. She has her own business. Her name's Betsy. She owns Unica Swim.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
If you need a swimsuit, she's the place to go. Custom, it's all sustainable. It's all body positivity, just amazing experience.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you go on vacation, go hit Betsy up. She's great. But I actually ran into her at a garden center, and I went up to her and I was like, "Oh, hi, I'm Julia. I'm so and so's friend." And she's like, "Yeah, you're the plant girl." And I was like, "Yeah, I guess whatever."
That's your name now.
Yeah, because I had started my Instagram about a month or so after my dad passed away, because a bunch of my friends and family had encouraged me to start a blog post or something about it.
Sorry to hear about that.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So she saw me on Instagram and whatever, and she had a bird of paradise, and it wasn't doing well at her store. And I was like, "Hey, you need to do this with it." And I showed her what to buy. I showed her how to do it, whatever. Mm-hmm. And she just looked at me. She's like, "Why aren't you doing this as a job? You should be helping other people. You should do this as a business." And I immediately, and I think, I'm sure you guys can attest to this. It's you immediately just discredit yourself. Oh, no. No one's gonna pay me to do that. Why would anybody want me to do that?
Right.
And she was like, "I would." And it was during COVID. Wow. So it was this was end of May 2020. And she's like, "My store is closed because of the pandemic."
Right.
She's like, "I'm renovating. I want to fill the store with more plants because it's, beachy vibes and
For
whatever."
Sure.
And she's like, "I don't really know anything about plants. You do. I'll hire you, but take it seriously, and I'll help you launch the business in a way."
Wow, what a great friend.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh, yeah. She's amazing. I owe so much to her. So inspirational, and she's such a hardworking person. And so anytime I have business type of questions, I usually will kind of go to her, and she always leads me in the right direction. But yeah, I sort of started it that way. She was basically my first client. And then from there, she made it a big deal of posting about me, and
That's a true friend.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure. And posting about me, telling her clientele about me, and then within a month or so, I had my first client, which was a client of hers, and she's still my client to this day.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
shout out Camille.
Got to give that shout out. Well, that was kind of leading into my next question, because as part of your business, companies hire you to maintain their spaces as well as the plants, obviously, and decorate it. How did you branch off into that? No pun intended.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah. That was a good one. Yeah, I guess for the most part, it started out as just doing like, you know, people's homes or
That's
people's
right.
condos, that sort of thing. I did my first, I guess, business. It would have been a design studio. And that was, I started the business in June. It was June I started it. And then in September, I got them. And I guess that kind of put me a little bit more on the radar of that sort of thing. And it showed people that like I'm not just doing homes and condos or people's like residential spaces necessarily. And then I got my first big office building in September 2021. And that really kind of like launched it. And then from there, one of my clients, who's like it's like a home, I did work for her. Her and her husband's best friend is this big real estate developer in Toronto. And every year they put out a new like rental, like luxury boutique rental property. And they had somebody do their plants at their first location, which is at College in Spadina. It's called the Waverly.
I've heard of it.
Yeah,
yes.
It's really, they have a cool cafe, like it's super dope there. But they had somebody do all their plants there and they died within like a couple weeks. So after I did her plants, she had sent a message to me and she's like, you know, we have this friend, he has condos and this and that, or rental properties, and would you want me to like introduce you and possibly work with them? So I did a consultation for them, and then now I have basically all their properties.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
The power of word of mouth.
Yeah,
100%.
it's word of mouth. And like I said, like I have a lot of really amazing clients, and you know, I'm really lucky that my name is said in rooms of opportunity.
Amen, yeah.
So like grateful for that.
Yeah.
For sure.
So
I
were
feel-
you,
Go ahead.
sorry, were you ever nervous or scared when you're starting it? Like, dang, am I going to make money? Like, what were you working at the time? Were you not working? Like, were you ever worried about the financial aspect while going to unconventional career?
Yeah, 100%. At the time I was working, I was doing social media, like managing for a garden center.
Cool.
Yeah, so that was nice. But definitely, yeah, obviously kind of thought about that. I mean, I'm very lucky that I live at home, so my expenses are pretty
Minimal.
low.
Yeah.
You know, and then my mom would obviously be aware, like, you know, I'm starting a business and I'm trying to, you know, put everything and all of that. But yeah, definitely imposter syndrome for sure.
Yeah.
I think more so my concern wasn't necessarily the money aspect of like, it was more like, oh, who would hire me? And, you know, is this actually going to work? Or like, is it going to be something I'm going to do for 6 months and then like, it's just going to, you know, fizzle out because nothing's going to happen from it. And I'm just going to have to give up on it. That was more like my kind of thing, was like the imposter syndrome and like just getting over that hump of like negative thoughts kind of coming in and just actually believing in yourself, right? Because it's like, you know your stuff, like people want to hire you, so like they're believing in you, so like you got to also believe in yourself, right?
Right. What about your mom? Was she supportive in this journey?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. My mom and my brothers, like they're super, super supportive. But actually the reason I started my Instagram was my middle brother, we were outside having lunch, and I had just gone out with a couple of my friends the night before, and they were saying that I should start a blog, and I was like, whatever, shrugged it off. And I'd mentioned it to him, and he like stood up out of his chair and he like yelled, and he's like, yes, like you have to do this. He's like, I'll drive you wherever you want. Aww. Like I'll take photos, I'll take videos of you, like I'll help you, I'll do whatever. Damn. And I just wasn't expecting that type of reaction from him. And I was just like, okay, clearly like I'm missing something. Like everybody else sees something around me and like I'm not seeing it, so like let me just listen to what everyone else is saying and like just go for it.
Yeah. And why do you think that is? Why didn't you see it?
I don't know. I guess again it's like maybe like self-doubt sometimes, right? Or you don't really think, like, you just, for me, it's just like, yeah, like, it's not a big deal that I know the scientific names of all these plants or how to repot them or like the soil components and like the type of care they need. Like, to me, that's not a big deal because it's just like common knowledge for me. But for somebody maybe like you guys or somebody else who just doesn't know that, they're amazed by that. And then I'm just like, well, it's just...
Shouldn't everyone know?
Yeah, like, I just look at it, I'm like, oh, it's just like, it is what it is. I don't know, right? So...
I also read somewhere where during the pandemic is where people bought the most pets, the most plants.
Yeah.
And that's actually when I got into plants too.
Oh, no way. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I felt like it was like, I don't know if I'm crazy. You can tell me if I'm crazy or not. I feel like you'll not think I'm crazy.
I won't
but
think you're crazy.
my plants have names. I talk to them.
Yeah.
What are the benefits?
does.
Some of the benefits.
They're so, there's honestly, they're so, you got to share some names. That might be my,
Okay.
that might be my question.
Okay. This is Millie.
Oh, okay.
Okay. This
I
is
like
Millie. That is Serenity.
Okay, I like that.
And this is Psalm. But you know, Psalm's not doing that well right now.
Well, we're going to take a look.
It's my second time having a palm tree.
They're so finicky. I don't recommend them.
Right?
But I'll take a look.
Listen, guys, she doesn't recommend it. Don't get it.
Well, let's kind of get into your education a bit. We
Yeah.
did a little bit of research, and we obviously know you went to the States to do your horticulture certification.
Yes.
Why did you choose the States versus Canadian education?
So I didn't physically go to the States. It was online.
Got
Yeah.
it. Okay.
You know, it's funny actually.
Exclusive.
Literally last week I did a consultation and my client asked me, he's like, why, same question. He's like, why the States? Like, why Oregon? And I was like, well, just, it was online. He's like,
Wow.
oh, I thought you physically went there. I was like, honestly, I kind of wish. It's beautiful out there from what I've heard. No, it was, the course there, I liked the instructors, and the course timeline worked better for my lifestyle and my work because the ones here were a little bit more intense in the sense of like there wasn't that much leeway in scheduling, and I didn't want to take any time off from seeing clients and doing work and doing my maintenance clients.
Right.
So that one, from what I shopped around, that was the most that one fits seamlessly into my lifestyle. Otherwise, yeah, I would have picked obviously
Something else.
something here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you feel like the certification helped you? Do you think you'd be as successful in this business without a certification?
I mean, I think I was doing well like before it as well. I think I got it because when I got featured in Blog TO, they made the mistake. I didn't, because I'm not claiming I'm not sorry Toronto Star, sorry. So I'm like throwing them under the bus right now. I don't claim that I'm a botanist because that's like a legit title.
They didn't
it's
do
like
no research.
yeah, it's like calling yourself an engineer without going to like engineering school, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But in the title of the 2-page article, they called me a botanist, and somebody had commented because they posted it online as well.
Yeah.
And somebody online commented, they were like, "Oh, good for her, like, you know, whatever, she's like following her dreams, but like, how dare you call her a botanist? Like, there's people that go study this and that and like dedicate their lives to this stuff. Like, how dare you, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, oh, right. And at that point, like, again, it was just like getting a lot of traction.
Yeah.
I was getting bigger clients, and I knew that like the only way to sort of level up and just kind of also shut people down.
People are such haters.
Yeah,
Shady.
people are haters. Yeah, oh, 100%, right? So, yeah, I looked at it and I was like, let me just reinvest back into myself and also back into the business, and get some education on it, just to have that credit or the certification. So if somebody does say something, I can be like, like, you know, can't say something.
Check the resume.
Yeah,
babe.
exactly. Like, check the resume. Like, keep the
Look at the
resume.
What did they say to
Exactly.
little haters? Like, people who hate on not even just yourself, but like I find that when people are building traction and they're building a name for themselves, people just hate, and it's like
They're mean.
yeah.
Oh, 100%.
And
I've been called some names.
right, well, I was gonna ask, like, what do they hate you for? Like, I can't even think of one thing.
You know what? I think like during the like peak pandemic, when like people were like, when Reels just came out and people started doing Reels, like I started doing them and they just blew up, and I started to gain a lot of followers at that point because Instagram was like, the algorithm was just like pushing it out.
Right.
And yeah, I don't know. I think in one video I did like, it was just like a little like head bop or like a little like shoulder, like a dance, not even like a TikTok dance, but just like a little like shimmy.
Your reels are fire.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate
so
that. I
good.
appreciate that. But someone called me an IG hoe, and I was like, how am I? Yeah.
Yeah, they've never seen an IG hoe before.
I was like,
Your
how?
mom's son.
I'm like posting like information about plants. Like I don't understand. But people are just people are bad. I don't know. I don't honestly. I'm really lucky. Like especially in the plant community. Like it's a very, for the most part, from my experience, it's a pretty positive experience, and it's very welcoming, and a lot of great people in it. So I don't experience like the hate on that sort of level. I think as maybe fashion people or beauty people do, because they're really kind of exposing themselves a little bit more. They're also in more of like a vulnerable position, and I can't imagine. I don't know how I deal with that sort of negativity in comments, but no, for the most part, it's pretty good. Yeah.
I feel like now, I feel like you're creating so many streams of revenue besides just the plant business. Like now you're an influencer. I see you posting brand deals and collabs. Can you talk a little bit about that and how someone can start getting collabs?
Yeah. I'm not honestly super knowledgeable about like the Instagram, like brand side and like UGC and all of that. But I mean, I know people that have a really small following and they still make like pretty good money off of Instagram or TikTok or social media in general.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing is just being like yourself and being authentic, and the people will come if
they just reach out to you.
Yeah. Or like in general, like the following will also kind of follow you, right? Like if people like your personality, if you have information also to offer, like if you're a fashion person and you're able to be like, hey, this is how I dress for my body type, or like these are trends I think that are good, or trends I think are bad, or whatever. Like I always follow people like that because I'm like, I want to know what's, going on in the fashion world or beauty world and that sort of stuff. And somebody like me who I offer information about plants and maybe how to care for them, and I'll sort of tie in some entertainment towards that. Because I think a lot of people still are on social media for the entertainment aspect of it.
Right.
The followers will kind of come. And if you've got the following and you have the engagement, then you can start reaching out to brands. I find personally, anytime I've reached out to brands, I usually don't actually hear back. Or I get shut down where it's like, oh, we don't have the budget for this, or like, we can't offer you what you're asking, like that sort of thing. So I've been really lucky that a lot of brands have reached out to me through like PR agencies, and then because I'm on that PR agency's radar, then if they have another campaign that is sort of around like the eco green sustainability sort of aspect, they are like, oh, okay, cool, we worked with Julia, we liked her, let's go with her again.
Wow, I didn't even know there was such thing as a PR agency.
No.
Yeah.
That's
so
like cool.
like for instance, like I just did I recently did Brita, their PR which is good. Their PR agency is also under with Clorox. So I worked with Clorox first, and then they reached out to me to do Brita, and it's the same PR agency, and then I'm working with Clorox again on another campaign, so for spring. So once you're kind of in those sort of things, like it's easy to kind of, as long as obviously you're doing, like you're easy to work with and you create good content and they like you and you deliver on time, like they're going to keep you in their roster, so to speak, right? And then once there's a campaign that makes sense for your audience and like your image, like they'll reach out to you. And that's my experience. I think everybody's experience is a little bit different, but yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah. Speaking of Brita, is it true that you have to use filtered water to water your plants?
You know what? I think, you can kind of do really whatever you want. Like me personally, I'll use tap water, I'll use the Brita filter, I'll use distilled water. It's whatever I kind of feel like in the moment. Yeah. Like if I'm rushing to water my plants,
you get tap water today.
It's tap water. I'm sorry.
Cheap shit.
You know what I mean? I don't have time to like watch the Brita drip down and filter, right?
For sure.
And like buying distilled water is expensive.
Yeah,
like, that
girl.
shit adds up. You know what I mean?
We just recovered from the pandemic.
Yeah, I know. I was just gonna say, in this economy, like, come on. But I mean, there are certain plants that definitely will not be super happy if you're using tap water constantly.
Right,
so
right.
in that case, yeah, there are certain plants that will do better with like filtered water or distilled water or like reverse osmosis water, like whatever, just anything but tap water, because tap water is all the chemicals and stuff. But it also depends. Like some people's tap waters in different parts of the country is better than others.
Right.
So if your tap water is like really,
Very
really
true.
bad, then if you're not drinking the tap water, if you wouldn't drink the tap water, like you probably shouldn't give it to your plants.
Yeah.
Or at least not that often.
Right.
You know?
Don't water your plants with Flint, Michigan water.
Oh my God.
That's bad. That's bad.
Damn.
It's going to look like Psalm over here.
Girl, do not come for my plant.
Well, Julia, I'll be the first to admit I do not have a green thumb. Like, I literally kill the cactus. I'm not joking. So what would be advice for someone like me? What is the easiest plant to take care of?
You're looking at it. It depends. So like, what did you do? Like exactly? Did you
Nothing.
overwater? How
I
often
thought
were
it was
you watering?
self-sufficient. I'm kidding.
How often were you watering it?
You know what? This was a while back. I did follow the instructions, but what I had noticed was little mites started to eat around the cactus.
Were they white?
Yes.
Oh, you had mealybugs.
Ew.
So
what
that's
is
not
that?
your fault. That's not
Okay.
your fault. That's the plant store's fault. Yeah. So don't feel bad.
Yeah, I'm
You
going to sue
try
that plant
again.
store. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like bugs just kind of happen. With
Yeah.
plants. Like it is what it is. But what I would recommend for you would be either a snake plant or a ZZ plant. They're they're really easy to care for. Watering them, depending on your light, every couple of weeks. And they give you really clear indicating signs of like, hey, you need to water me, or like, yo, you overwatered me way too much. Like,
Chill out.
chill out. Like, let me dry out for a bit.
Let me breathe.
Yeah, exactly. Those would be my two recommendations.
Amazing. Thank you.
Quick question too. Another one for you. Spring is around the corner. Best or top 2 spring plants every homeowner needs.
Spring plants, like
Yeah.
outdoor or indoor?
Let's do one of each.
Okay. Outdoor. If you want to plant something outdoors, forsythia is really beautiful.
Ooh.
It's this like, yeah, right? Isn't it?
Sounds good.
Sounds like exotic, right?
Yes.
It's this like really nice bush, and it has these really beautiful little yellow flowers. Actually, for the last month, I've had cut branches off of a forsythia in a vase, and it lasts for like a month, and they're like these beautiful little delicate yellow flowers. Indoor.
Because I always tell our real estate clients, like, if you're trying to sell your property, having plants in it just creates a better aura.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Let's hear indoor.
Here's the thing. An easy thing if you want like a big kind of tree to kind of make a statement, a Dracaena, any variety is amazing because they're really easy to care for. If you give them a lot of light, they'll grow crazy. If you push them back further from a window, they'll grow a lot slower, but they'll still be happy. And again, watering is like maybe every 2 weeks, maybe every 3 weeks. Like they're not a super demanding type of plant. And they come in like hundreds of different colors and varieties and shapes. So if you don't like the way one looks, you probably like the way at least one of the varieties look. Like they're my top like 3 favorite plants for sure.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So I have one other plant question for you. I see a lot of people using ceramic pots without any drainage holes. How is that possible? Like, what do they do? Are they having like 2 pots in there? Like, what's the trick? I'm trying to figure it out.
So, I mean, I was trying to look at your...
These ones have holes in it.
That has a
Yeah,
hole?
100%.
You drilled a hole?
Yeah.
Okay.
They all have holes. This one is under in another pot, but these ones, they all have holes in it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, my rule of thumb is I always do drainage.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, like, once you're watering, there's no way, if you have no drainage, there's no way for the excess water to be expelled.
Right.
So the roots are at the bottom, and the water is just sitting with the roots. And then if you're not letting it dry out long enough in between your waterings, which most people aren't, you're just adding more water, and it's just building up, and then that's how you get root rot. Also, even like besides the water itself, there's no oxygen flow. And one thing people don't actually realize is oxygen is one of the biggest things for the root system. If there's no oxygen, right, if there's no drainage hole, if there's no holes in general at the bottom, you're not introducing any oxygen at all, and that's actually how you're gonna like suffocate the roots off. So
that's a great tip.
Yeah, I mean, now to say, like, I have a few plants at some clients that I don't have in drainage. Even though I'm like on Instagram, I'm like cancel everybody that doesn't plant in drainage holes. But that, like, the thing is because I'm the one that's taking care of it maintenance wise, like I know exactly how much, like to a T, how much to water it. Yeah. And I know I let it dry out in between. Like it's going every 2 to 3 weeks, right? Yeah. So
does it help if you put rocks on the bottom? I've seen that. Like, I don't know, does that work?
Again, like it's a bit of a myth. Like at the end of the day, like the
it can't breathe.
It can't breathe, and the water is still set, like in a way building up. Like the best thing to do is do drainage or keep the plants in the nursery pot and find a decorative pot that fits into that. Or just if you have a pot that you like, just try to drill a hole through it. It's not like that, not that hard.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm learning so much from you. I really
She's
am.
buying a plant tomorrow.
Yeah, you better.
Fake plant. I'm kidding. No, only real. But I mean, just talking about your expertise, I'm not surprised that you're successful. I mean, I think a lot of people don't realize how much of a focus taking care of plants is. So having said that, what is your next step for your business? What are some business goals for the future?
Ooh, good question. Good question. Yeah, I think definitely going in the direction that I'm going still, which is acquiring more maintenance clients, like offices, hotels, restaurants, that sort of thing.
Yes.
I do have 2 girls that work for me, and just kind of adding.
Big boss plant lady. That's what I really should have said.
That's amazing, and only in 2 years. Like, that's incredible.
Damn. 3 years. It'll be 3 years in this May/June.
Good for you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, just getting more, having more people that are able to work with the business. Possibly getting another like work vehicle so that I have more space and more capacity to do like bigger projects and things like that. Yeah, that's kind of where I see things going.
That's fantastic. I see you on a billboard very soon.
Yeah.
Man, congratulations.
Face and plants just planted everywhere. Again, no pun intended. These puns just keep coming to me today.
Yeah, real life comedian.
You're on fire, yeah.
Well, listen, Julia, we're going to jump into the portion of our game. It's called Sip or Spill. So you're going to spin the wheel. And if it lands on sip, you have to take a shot from the mystery liquids. I promise they're all edible. Spill will ask you a question. There's also a prize if you do land on that. Or reverse spill, where you get to ask myself or Elphi a spicy question. There are no limits. Okay. Nothing off the table. We have to answer. Elphi's sweating.
Okay. Spin the wheel.
All right. Oh, God.
Ooh. Oh, I got a good one. Okay. You landed on spill. That means I get to ask you a spicy question. Okay, here's the scenario. You are madly in love, and I think before you walked in, you told me you had a boyfriend. So this is perfect. You are madly in love with your boyfriend. Okay, it turns out, babe, he's allergic to plants. What do you do?
Ooh, allergic to plants.
Yeah.
Like physically, like anaphylactic allergic. Oh,
can't do
God.
it.
Yeah, I don't think it would work. I don't know. I come with 100 plants.
Oh,
I'm
damn,
not part
100?
Yeah, in my room.
Wow.
In my room, yeah. I'm not parting ways.
Okay.
I'm not parting ways.
You I knew that was your answer. I knew that, but I was testing you. Real plant mom here.
Gotta be real, you know.
I love that.
Spin that wheel.
Yes.
Oh, God. Let's see.
Ooh, okay. Spill again.
Spill. Oh, God.
Yes.
Great.
So I'm going to definitely stick to the topic of your boyfriend. I mean, you seem so busy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, these got to be spicy. You seem so busy. How do you juggle having a strong and happy relationship with your business simultaneously?
Yeah, it's hard.
See you on Sunday, babe.
Yeah, I think a big thing is like, goes for anybody that's has their own business or starting a business. Like, yeah, you're putting your whole self into that, like physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. So you have to be with somebody that understands that level of commitment and that like they possibly might come second. And some people don't like that.
Yeah.
I think my philosophy is like I should always be like I would want the person that I'm with to like they're their top priority and then I'm second after that, because if I'm your first priority, it's like you're gonna put yourself on the wayside. You're not gonna like do the things that make you happy and make you the best version of yourself, right? Like everybody has work to do on themselves at the end of the day, and like if you're prioritizing somebody else, like you're not prioritizing yourself, and you might let things like fall to the wayside, and then it's like a year or two goes by and you're like, oh wow, like I stopped doing this, like I used to do this every day and I love doing this, or like
you lose yourself.
Yeah. And I think like if I can look back in like past relationships, like I definitely found that I would do that, and I've made a kind of conscious effort to like not do that in this relationship.
Beautiful.
But I think like just prioritizing yourself, and just also making sure you're with somebody that understands that, and doesn't take that like personally.
Right.
I don't know.
That's a good answer.
Yeah. You have to be with somebody that also like understands what you're doing and like your vision and everything, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Is he a plant boy?
Kind of.
Yeah.
A little bit. I gave
water
him
him.
I might name me a plant boy.
I gave him a cutting, and it's like growing like crazy. So I was like, hey, this is a good sign.
I love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, spin
Spin
that
that
wheel.
Alrighty.
Ooh, you're not thirsty today.
Yeah,
you want to give us all the info. Okay, so if you were not in the plant business, what would you be in? Like what career field?
I'd probably say doing like the social media, like managing from maybe what I was doing before. I went to school for film in university, so possibly that as well. Anything kind of behind the camera, behind the scenes, anything creative, like any type of like creative direction, that sort of thing. I'd probably say that. That's kind of where my path was going before I started doing plants.
Yeah. Social media is fun as a business.
Yeah.
I prefer it more than just leisure.
Do you have any social media tips? Like your number one top tip? Because your following is crazy.
Oh, thanks.
And they're real followers. Okay.
Yeah.
Some people have a lot of fake followers, but hers are real.
Yeah. As real as her plants.
I mean, I think I kind of touched on this before, but like being yourself and being authentic, and it's sometimes scary to do this, but I mean, based on the people that I've seen on like Instagram and TikTok that also have like a really big following and do really well, is like they are vulnerable.
Yes.
And I think sometimes like I am that, but not really. I try to be, but it's scary obviously, because then you're kind of opening yourself up for like judgment and whatever.
People will use it against you sometimes too.
Exactly. So I would say just being yourself, being authentic. If you're comfortable with it, being kind of a little bit vulnerable to your following. and consistency as well. Like, don't stop posting because you're like, oh, like I've been doing it for 2 months and like I haven't seen any like growth. It's like sometimes it comes, like it might not come right away. Like I think our generation as well is like so used to like the instant gratification.
Yep.
And it's like sometimes it takes a few years for you to like really see it like come to fruition, right?
So true.
Yeah, so you got to just be patient, I think, as well. So yeah, you don't throw in your hat like that early just because like it's been a couple months and you haven't like seen any traction or any like crazy following, you know?
Yeah, you got to be patient. I remember when I posted a reel and it didn't hit for the first week and the week and a half, and I was like, maybe I should take this down. You know, listen, 2 weeks in, it hit 4 million followers. So you just got to be patient.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Well, let's
spin that wheel.
Okay. Maybe I'll get a drink this time.
Nah.
Dang.
No?
Another spill.
Oh, God.
That's a good game.
Okay.
It's your turn, Magda.
You got it. So if you were a plant based on your personality, what would you be?
Interesting. I think I answered this on one of my plant friends' podcasts.
Damn it!
He was dying. No, it's good. It's actually a really good question. He was dying because I said I'd be a calathea.
Okay.
Now,
what is that?
So if you guys have ever like scrolled through some of my reels, you'll notice I trash talk calatheas like on the regular. Okay, I trash talk them on the regular because they're so dramatic. If you forget to water them, they'll just crap out and die.
Dang.
No, and you could they're just like, they're so like finicky and but like they're also really like stunning, like beautiful plants with like, so I feel
lots
like
of character.
Yeah, exactly. They have like out of all the plants, I think like they're probably one of the most like interesting varieties. Like they literally, if you look them up afterwards, but like their leaves look painted on.
Wow.
Like they almost look they look like a piece of art. Like their leaves are beautiful. But they're like, can I swear? They're a bitch. They're a bitch. They're a bitch to care for. Yeah. So I feel like I'd be a calathea. Stop giving me attention for 5 minutes. I'm gonna get pissed off.
I love it. Spicy.
Where did you grow up?
Where did I grow up?
Yeah. Random question.
Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got that spice. I like it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, you want to do one more?
Yeah, we'll do one more spin.
Okay, let's see.
Spin that wheel.
Spin it.
I see hot sauce here.
Yeah. It's not hot sauce.
Is it not?
No.
What is it?
Oh, come on.
Okay, you got to spill out one more time.
Yeah.
We want to see you drink something, okay?
Okay, you got a prize.
What's the prize, Magda?
So I will tell you, Julia. Here we have a lovely steriball. They sponsor the podcast.
Ooh.
So basically, it's a toothbrush protector. It keeps it fresh for up to 3 months.
Literally need that.
Perfect.
So funny. I literally need that right now.
Okay, well, I love this for you. It has natural oils that keeps it fresh. So like tea tree oil.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So right up your alley. So much more you can read. Well, it's in Turkish, so you can't read about it. But the new ones are coming out are in English, so we'll be able to know. But it's like tea tree oil, mint.
Beautiful.
Yeah. It's all natural. And it keeps your toothbrush protected.
Very
so
cool.
And when you start doing your international clients hiring you, you could take that on the go, travel with it. Because I do see that for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to Mexico soon, so I actually need that.
Me too.
Where are you going?
Well, in May. I'm thinking mid-May. We're going to Maya Riviera.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Love
I hope it's safe.
Yeah.
People haven't told me otherwise.
Oh, last night I booked my flight and everything, and then I went on TikTok. The first couple videos was like,
Oh my
like,
gosh.
don't go to Mexico. And I'm like, already booked it.
Yeah.
Too late.
YOLO.
Yeah, literally.
I love that. Awesome.
Amazing.
Awesome, Julia. Well, thank you so much for playing the game and answering our questions. Before we close it off, what is one piece of advice that you can give the audience?
Wow.
It can be anything.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is believing in yourself and believing in yourself and try to shun out all of the negative thoughts that come in because even if you're like a super positive person, even if you do believe in yourself, like those negative thoughts will always kind of come in, and there'll always be naysayers, and there'll always be, you know, negative people around that are going to doubt you, but never let that type of projection actually penetrate into your bubble.
Yes.
And also surround yourself with like-minded people. I think that was the biggest game changer for me, is surrounding myself with other women that are entrepreneurs and businesswomen, and just really strong, powerful women. And that was big for sure. So
Yeah.
Wow, that was amazing. So where can our viewers and listeners find you online?
You can find me online on Instagram. It's torontoplant.girl. TikTok is the same, I think. It's torontoplant.girl. Also YouTube. It's just Toronto Plant Girl, no dot. And that's it.
Amazing. Yeah. And they can just book consultations through your Instagram?
Through my Instagram, there's like a book now little button. But you can also just go on my website. It's www.torontoplanggirl.com.
Love it.
Amazing. It's Meet You at the Top podcast. Thank you, Julia. We'll see you there, guys.
Meet you at the top, yeah. Magda and Elphi on lock, yeah. And they ain't never gonna stop, yeah. Said they gon' meet you at the top.